Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Have you ever ordered something from overseas online and then when it arrived it wasn't quite what you were expecting? You have. I suspect most of us have, though perhaps not quite to that extent. Have you ever ordered a watch from overseas online thinking it was black and then when it arrived it was purple? Anyone? Anyone? No, I suspect it's only me. Maybe I need to adjust the colour contrast on my monitor or something. I bought this Casio W735 from an overseas seller late last year, and when it arrived I was like, it's purple! Then I was like, hey, it's purple. It's not like I don't wear bright colours anyway. The reason I bought this one is because it's a bit of a unicorn. I think it's one of only 2 or 3 watches for less than $50 which feature a vibrating alarm. What could you possibly want with a vibrating alarm? Well, I reckon there's a few circumstances where it could come in pretty handy. It's also one of these Casios that looks and feels an awful lot like a G-Shock. It's got the integrated bracelet, it's got the raised bezel, but it doesn't have the price tag. You can pick these up all day long on eBay for less than $30. Certainly not G-Shock money there. You can also pick up a whole bunch of different colorways. There's some really cool looking white ones, grey ones and a two-tone brown one. You don't have to buy them in purple. Let's flip the camera and have a look at this one. Yes, that is definitely not black, that is definitely purple. Maybe it looks a bit more vibrant under these studio lights than it does outside. I'll show you that in a minute or two, but not quite what I thought I had ordered. I've had fun with this one nonetheless though, I do like it. So I never take too long with these Casio videos. I'm going to rattle you through the basic dimensions and specs first, then the module, some indoor and outdoor wrist shots, and I'll run you through the 2 standout features. Can you guess what they are? Casio does give us a clue in this regard. The vibration alarm and the light, both of which I think are pretty fantastic. So 44 millimeters in diameter. I'm going to say 51 lug to lug and just over 15 thick. As you can see, as I mentioned in the intro, the bezel there does protrude slightly, protecting the piece of plastic dial covering. It's just a kind of basic plastic that they use to cover the dials on all of these Casios. Now, lug width. Lug width is a bit of a moot point here, 18 mil, but you're never really going to take it off the resin band because it's not economically viable for a start, and it would look ridiculous. These watches are designed to be worn on the integrated bands. That's part of what I said again. It's that G-Shock thing. You can drop this one and it'll bounce given the style of it. Now the weight, only 51 grams. So big chunky dimensions, but super light. I really do enjoy this one. And it looks pretty purposeful as well with those 4 screws holding the whole thing together. Similarly, 4 screws on the stainless steel screw down case back, 10-year battery life in these. It's a module 3416 for your reference. When the time comes, in a decade's time, you just unscrew the back, pop in the battery yourself. They don't cost much, these lithium batteries, just a couple of dollars. So if you've worked one Casio, you've not quite worked them all, but not far off. They're all quite intuitive. Bottom left is the mode, top left is the adjust, bottom right is the start stop. Top right is the reset or the split, and obviously we've got that big light button at the bottom. Oh, go on then, I'll show you the light now. 2 big ice white LEDs in the bottom right and bottom left corner. Really fantastic. I think it is the best of all of the Casio lights that I've looked at on the channel to date, and I've looked at a few. Because there's a bit more real estate on this dial than some other Casios, you get a bit more information here as well. Now, countdown timer, stopwatch, alarm and dual time, those are all highlighted by a little bar that moves across at the bottom. The alarm, the vibration, the split, the alarm and the hourly chime signal, all highlighted on the top in that little circle. And these 2 circles, it's a kind of count up, count down, 3 cycles per minute. Also useful for the stopwatch as well. I'll show you how that works. So the mode in the bottom right, press it once and you're into a countdown timer, which I've set for 1 minute. Start, stop and reset on that one. Next mode, and we're on to the stopwatch. Again, start, split, continue, stop and reset, all pretty standard. Next one, we're on to the alarm. So only a single alarm here, currently set for 3:31. Now, while we're in the alarm, you can cycle through up here, the alarm on off, hourly chime, alarm and hourly chime, or off altogether. One more press of the mode and we're into a dual time function, so you can have a second time zone set. The dial is big enough here, the display is big enough to show you your home time while you're looking at the second time, which is a nice useful feature. Now, one thing you can't do is you can't have the vibration alarm and the beep beep alarm at the same time. If you do want to move it in and out of vibration mode, you hold down that one and bzz, the thing buzzes to let me know, and the vibration indicator appears. Once again, and it goes back to beep and that mark disappears. Alright, let's have a look at this one's party piece then, the vibration feature. You can actually have this work for you in two ways, either using the alarm or using the countdown timer. So you can set a timer for something, you're boiling an egg or whatever, and move the watch back onto normal time, and then it will vibrate to let you know that the countdown timer has ended. So what I'll do, I'll switch the vibration feature on again by holding that button, move it into the timer mode. I have conveniently set it here for 5 seconds. I'll press that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. There we are. I can feel that certainly. Perhaps you can hear it. Definitely you're going to notice that one. It isn't ridiculous, but you'll certainly notice it, and after a few buzzes it's off again. I can see that being really useful, far less invasive than a mobile phone alarm or a bedside table alarm, for example. If you do share your bed with a partner and you get up at vastly different times, this is a kind of subtle way of waking yourself up. I think a great feature if you're camping and don't want to wake up the entire campsite also. And that's it on wrist. I've got a 7-inch wrist for your reference. I mean, there's no getting away from the fact that it is a big and chunky watch, you know, 15 plus, 51 lug to lug. But because of the integrated bracelet, it fits me very nicely indeed. And like I said, just 51 grams, nice and light. Now, I appreciate that you can pick up the square 5600 G-Shocks from just under $50 US still if you shop around, but this size, this shape, this kind of circular ones do tend to be a bit more expensive. So I genuinely think the 735 is a viable alternative if you like the look and you like some of these features, but you don't necessarily need the super ruggedness. You don't need 200 meters of water resistance. From a G-Shock, you're happy with only 100. And outside in some natural light, yeah, it still looks pretty purple, doesn't it? Nice legibility from this display, nice crisp definition from this display as well. Fresh battery always helps, it's not an old watch here. And that's it on wrist. The resin band on these ones, perhaps a little more flexible than on some of the G-Shocks as well. Maybe it won't last as long, but it is nice and comfortable as a consequence. And that's pretty much it. Even with a couple of G-Shocks on loan to Mr. X at the moment, I still managed to have an entire box full of Casios. I just love the things, even in purple. So there you have it, another value-packed offering from Casio. I like this one, I've been wearing it quite a bit, kind of in lieu of some of my G-Shocks as well. Super comfortable, it's big, but it doesn't particularly feel big because it's very light. Fantastic illuminator, and I could see myself using that vibrating alarm occasionally. Maybe I'll pick up another one that isn't purple at some point. Thanks for watching, I will see you again.